Good morning, guys, and welcome to the podcast. I've got Jordan Calderon from Los Angeles, California. He's an entrepreneur and he is the founder of Strat Dev Digital Marketing. He's done 2 exits. He's also a top 100 US marketer. And I'm really happy to have him on to share his insights and have a great conversation. Jordan, welcome.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Yeah. And briefly introduce yourself and we'll dive into your company and what it does.
Yeah, absolutely. 26 years old, live in Los Angeles, have an amazing haircut right now, and an entrepreneur at heart. I have always attempted to try to go against the grain. My father wanted me to be very much corporate thinking throughout high school and going into college at UC Santa Barbara. But I just never really felt like that was for me. And so I've ever since 5 years old, picking plums off a tree and selling it at my local community pool, always found a way to make money. And that has festered and evolved into what I am doing today, which is building multiple businesses. I have, as you said, 2 exits under my belts and currently the operator of a couple more businesses as well.
Yeah. And so really a great introduction. And so when people talk about Stratagem, what it does and why you founded it, and I'm really curious.
Yeah, StratDev is a full service B2B marketing firm where we work with growth startups anywhere between the seed up to Series B stage, working for up and to the right, hopefully hockey stick growth with marketing campaigns. So really out of the box, really unique, and very quick to understand, hey, is this working or not, especially with startup companies with relatively limited budgets, especially in this very difficult fundraising period that we see here. They need to see a return relatively quickly. So we're able to go ahead and achieve that for 94% of our customers within 6 months or less.
Yeah. Interesting. And so clients that come to you talk about what they're wanting to achieve or what they're frustrated with compared to other marketing agencies and firms.
Yeah, a part of the inception of StratDev was very much due to some of those frustration points that our customers have. Taking a little bit of a step back, before StratDev was StratDev, I had been building other companies. I've worked with other digital marketing firms in the past, and I fired every single one of those marketing firms. And the reason why is because they would promise all these unicorns and rainbows and deliver dirt at the end of the day. And it's frustrating as somebody who's investing a lot of money into these firms, hoping that they would fulfill the promises that they make in the sales cycle. But unfortunately, I just felt it was very difficult to find the one. I actually was not able to find the one. And I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go ahead and build a company myself, and I'm going to go ahead and be that right company that can fulfill the promises that we make to our customers and actually achieve these results. So I think on the other side, it's really important to note that marketing is not magic, but I think we come relatively close to it in a lot of ways and senses. So a lot of the customers that come to us have worked with other agencies, have experienced burnt bridges. And don't get me wrong, sometimes we're not 100% successful, but we are honest, we are true to our word, and we will set you straight and say, hey, these are the risks. This is the potential gain here as well. But giving the full 360 look and view in terms of what we're thinking is possible and achievable. And then we set very stringent KPIs, benchmarks, milestones to hopefully achieve over a set period of time.
Interesting. And the next question I have for you is at StratDev, you're fully bootstrapped. And what made you go down the path towards bootstrapping versus raising angel or venture capital? Because you've also turned down acquisition offers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll speak about the acquisition offers in just a second here. But in terms of why I decided to go the bootstrap route, Chris, let me tell you, I have built all of my businesses being fully bootstrapped. I think that you need to be an extra risk-seeking entrepreneur to go the bootstrapping route because it's your money on the line, not somebody else's. But on the flip side of that, I like the ability of having full flexibility. I like having the ability to have full freedom. I hate the idea of having to respond to a board every single day, trying to get SHIT done, but not being able to because I'm answering 12 questions to a higher level because they gave us money back 3 years ago, when looking now, maybe I didn't need it as much as the hassle was worth. And I'm a younger entrepreneur too. I have a lot of young entrepreneur friends that own VC backed companies, and I I don't blame the board members by any means, but their boards tend to look at them over just a more finely tuned microscope because they're young and maybe more susceptible to making some mistakes. You're young, we're not going to take you off the training wheels just yet. So I like the ability to just choose what I want to do, and my successes are truly my successes. And on the flip side, my failures are truly my failures because I'm the one in the driver's seat fully. And yeah, in terms of the acquisition offers, I think you're referring to back in 2023, StratDev received 11 unique LOIs from 11 different entities, basically asking, hey, we want to buy StratDev. And some of them were pretty crappy, but some of them were relatively attractive. And back as a 24-year-old looking at some of these numbers, I was like, okay, I like this. But it's a bet on myself, right? Because I am fully bootstrapped, because I don't have any pressure to sell at any specific time or not sell for that matter as well. I believe that I could continue to grow and scale StratDev. So I declined each and every single one of them, ended up continuing building the business. And looking back, even 2 years ago, I'm happy that I decided to not sell the business because we've been able to grow at that point about 3x bigger in terms of team size, revenues, and profit as well since that time. So it ended up being a good bet that has paid off.
Interesting. And you talk about you have to answer to boards and shareholders. So I assume no plans to take StratDev public or any sort of just keep it a private company and just continue to grow it. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe that there's only 2 public digital marketing firms on NASDAQ, but yeah, no, believe that I want to keep that a private company. I think we have a tremendous amount more growing to get to before we even have the ability to have that conversation. And if I'm being fully honest with you, I have not really thought too deeply about that, but thinking about it now, I think private is the way to go. Again, keeping that full control, and StratDev is my baby. I don't know if I 100% want to give that up by any means.
Interesting. What are some of the client successes that StratDevs had, and talk about some like your challenges and how you overcame those?
Yeah, absolutely. One customer success story that comes to mind is a company called Southend. Southend back in 2022 was a very small pharmacy out in Houston, Texas. And back in 2022, they saw a really strong opportunity, and that opportunity was a free COVID test program that the government was essentially funding. So, Chris, I don't know if you remember, but back in 2022 and 2023, you can go to your local Walgreens or CVS and ask them for 8 COVID tests. And you can do that every month per person, per household. And they would just give it to you for free as long as you showed your medical card. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember you could get there was free COVID tests everywhere. So right.
Exactly, right. So somebody was footing that bill, and it was the US government. So essentially what they did is they relied on pharmacies, independent or even the big chain ones like CVS and Walgreens, to distribute those. And so the back end numbers is about $50 for CVS to give it to you, and then they would get reimbursed $99 by the government. So they wanted you to come in and take their free COVID test because they were making a 2x return or $50 every single time that you went ahead and did that. And so there were some very savvy small pharmacies that also saw the opportunity to do that. And Southend was one of those. And so Southend came to us through actually a referral with one of our partner agencies that we work with, and said something along the lines of, hey, Jordan, I heard that you guys know your stuff. We want to work with you. You don't need to sell us, but essentially what I want to do is run a very short test, run it for a month or 2. I'm going to contract a couple of other agencies, and I'm going to go to make you compete gladiator style for the role of marketing firm. And I thought it was a very unique and respectable approach, right? And so they did. And so we ended up getting to ROI positivity, running online campaigns. And the one thing that we did is that we got virtual e-signatures through HIPAA compliant platforms. So we didn't have to have somebody physically come into their doorsteps, but we were able to do this on a national level by a more traditional marketing funnel and through ads to landing page, sign the landing page, put in your information, you get the free COVID test. Yeah, so we started that. We hit profitability really quickly, and we started to see some crazy numbers, and we started scaling relatively parabolically. Within a couple of weeks, we were spending millions of dollars in ad spends. And within 5 months of that business, StratDev grew from $0 to $40 million in revenue. And I told you the profit margins too, so you guys can do the math. It was a very successful campaign and engagement that we ran. And so we did that up until the government stopped this program, and Southend has now spun up into a couple of different other businesses that are doing quite well. They've made quite the name for themselves, and it's very cool and fulfilling, honestly, to have done such a prolific campaign that also helped people. I'm not going to make any claims saying that we save lives. I don't know, because that's not a thing that I want to say, but I do know that more people got COVID tests because of the work that we were able to do. And hopefully, in my heart of hearts, I believe that prevented certain people from going out once they knew that they had COVID and potentially infecting other individuals that might have compromise the health of those individuals. It's very fulfilling to be able to do a really good thing and be profitable at the expense of our government. Yeah, so that's a fantastic client story. As I said, marketing is not magic, right? We do have our setbacks. We do have our worries, right? One of the biggest ones that we're seeing in the market right now is agentic AI, and how agentic AI, there's a couple of different companies that are essentially trying to take that outbound marketing effort and essentially automate it through agentic AI. Chris, I don't know if you ever get any like random phone calls or random emails of just spam, someone trying to sell you something. You know what I'm talking about? So
All the
that's all
time.
outbound. That's all outbound marketing. And there are certain softwares and tools that allow us to automate these things, but it's more or less a manual effort where you're manually giving that copy or that message. You're manually calling. Now we have AI that can do a lot of that as well. And that's coming for the neck of a lot of more traditional digital marketing firms, in the sense of AI can do it cheaper than a human. AI can do it faster, and you don't have to pay AI paid time off or bonuses. They work 24/7, right? Labor laws don't apply to them. There is a little bit of a concern around that. So we've been very proactive with attempting to essentially be ahead of the curve, sitting down, having dinners with some of the founders, CEOs, CTOs of these companies, understanding what they're doing, what they're seeing, what their performance is, to make sure that we are on par, or if not above, their performance at all given time, to make sure that we're not left in the dust.
Interesting. And so what's really interesting is I can tell you're an entrepreneur at heart. And what's the secret sauce? Because I mean, you've sold two companies. One is a college apparel company. And then what's the secret sauce to scaling just companies in just totally different fields? Is it principles? Is it mindset or skill sets? Talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, you have to believe me. It's this amazing hairdo I have right here. No, I'm kidding. I think it's important to look at that question holistically and from both sides. My first company, College Cloud, the first company that I sold, I would call my first small success, was not the first company that I started. It was the fourth company that I started. Company 1, 2, and 3 failed miserably. And again, I was bootstrapped. So it was my failure. It was my dollars that I had lost. But each of those failures taught me really valuable lessons that I think set me up for success in that fourth one, being College Cloud. I just want to make sure that the viewing audience knows that it's not like I figured the secret sauce out on day one. This is a output of consistent trial and error. With that, what has worked really well for me, juggling, I think, 4 businesses currently, is time blocking. It's been around forever, but in the past recent years, Elon Musk has, I think, repopularized it. But it's essentially putting on your calendar, hey, I'm going to be spending this time doing this thing, then this thing. It's essentially structuring your day by the minute or by the half hour, whatever works best for you. Even the personal things, right? I'm going to take a lunch from 11 to 12, and nothing else can stop me from doing that. I'm going to go hang out with my friends from 5 to 8 o'clock. I'm going to turn off my notifications on Slack and Gmail, things like that, right? And that allows essentially balance, making sure that you are able to get the stuff done that you commit to getting, or say that you're going to get done. And then secondly, also having a good work-life balance, ensuring that you don't hit burnout, like scheduling your time off, scheduling those breaks, scheduling the fun things in life, because life is not just about business. Life is just not about entrepreneurship. And as an entrepreneurship, sometimes it's easy to get lost in that sauce, Chris, and essentially finding yourself working 80-hour work weeks and getting up from your chair, realizing that you haven't left the house in 3 days. And yes, that happens. You smell really bad. It's not what you want to do or be known as. With that, by finding that healthy balance, that's what I'll leave us here on.
Yeah. And the other thing is, what I found interesting is that because you had a 225K per year job, and your parents wanted you to go this traditional route, and a lot of people listening or viewing, they're in these, like, they're lawyers, doctors, dentists, these very stable. But you found the way to, and you've actually turned down offers. What is the mindset? You feel like you can do better than, or is it a mindset, or is just more upside potential? And you talk about controlling your future and your fate.
Yeah, absolutely. It was self-confidence and there's any entrepreneur that says they don't do it for the money is lying, but it's not 100% for the money, but rather for the passion. I wake up every single day really excited to see how I can evolve and get these businesses just 1 inch further on a day-to-day basis. That makes me excited. I think I would be slamming my forehead on my desk if I were be working an office job. Going back, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just want to make very clear. I think that entrepreneurship is for very few people who are really comfortable with risk and really okay, truly in your heart of hearts, okay with losing it all. And I'm okay with that. I've made peace with the potential that could happen at any given time. And that excites me. It doesn't scare me. Going back to college, my father really wanted me to go and climb that corporate ladder. And he saw FANG companies being that kind of new hot poppin' trajectory. And hey, Jordan, you should go invest your time into trying to get an internship there. And FANG, for the viewers who don't know, is Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Google, and then there's Microsoft there. I think that shouldn't be forgotten there too. But essentially, my sophomore year, which was my second year of college clout, I decided to apply for a couple. My father pushed me to apply for a couple of internships. I think I got waitlisted at Amazon, and I actually got accepted to Apple. I don't know if I actually ever told them that, but I decided to not take those and instead work on my business during that time. And so I remember my father being quite frustrated, saying that I was making a mistake by working on a business and not taking an internship during that summer. But I didn't listen to him. I ended up working very hard that summer, and we started to see a little bit of success. There were a couple of checks that came to the house, and my dad said, "What is that?" "Well, it's for my business." And I think it just piqued a little bit of curiosity. And fast forward to the end of college, I had started building StratDev, and the amount that StratDev was bringing in on a yearly basis was higher than really any job that I could get out of college. And I showed my father, I said, "Hey, look at what I'm making." I think it was during tax time when I had to file the returns, and he's, "Holy crap. Okay, I understand now." And so he wasn't exactly happy about it. He still thought that I was making a wrong decision because he didn't know if I was going to be able to sustain those numbers. But I, year over year, have continued to prove him wrong. And there was a point where just a couple of years ago, my father, being somebody who has solely worked in the corporate field for, I think, 25 years now, took a leap of faith himself and actually ended up leaving the corporate world to, guess what, Chris, start his own company. And my father's a very proud man, and I love him very much. And I don't think that he will ever fully admit it, but I do think that there's something that I was part of the reason in that I want to believe. And so I think that firstly is amazing, and secondly is honestly something that I'm very proud of. Yeah.
Excellent. And what a fantastic way to end it. And how can people connect with you, check out StratDev, and if they're the right client to work with you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on LinkedIn, on Instagram. You can reach out to me via email at jordan@stratdevdigitalmarketing.com, StratDev, digitalmarketing.com. I am also building another company here outside of StratDev. So maybe if you have a fuller business that has at least a little bit of traction behind you, StratDev can definitely help you out and to continue growing that business. But if you're maybe earlier in that stage, just trying to venture off and make those first steps into entrepreneurialism, one of my companies called My Virtual Desk is an offshore virtual staffing and recruiting company with a twist. We're building this amazing AI software that is essentially an assistant for the assistants that we'll place. So, Chris, you're busy, you're trying to build a business, and you have a lot of things to go ahead and do. We can go ahead and place the top 1% of Filipino talent with you to essentially help get stuff done and for you to delegate off. And then we have this AI tool that'll allow them to increase their efficiencies by about 3x, fewer mistakes, better output. And this is not just true with outsourced talent, but just all talent as a whole. Really great service plus SaaS offering there. And yeah, we're in early beta. You get some discounts if you start with us sooner than later. And we'd love to have you on, any listener that's listening, as a customer.
Excellent. I really enjoyed this conversation. Very inspiring, and keep up the great work.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris.